New York City, you did it. You elected Mom Donnie to be your new mayor.
Yeah.
Well, did you know that he was backed by Alex Soros, son of billionaire George Soros? And both of them are millionaires, like father, like son. But anyway, that's just a little tidbit of information. Listen, I am almost excited to watch your mouth drop when you realize that the same hand that feeds you is the same hand that will starve you when they want dominance and control. Kind of like the shutdown of the government when they admitted they used you as leverage. Anyway, listen. Mamdani last night after he won, he said, I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, I said aunties. I was looking for when he said Americans, but I can't find it. But anyway, I want to give you the rules because, you're going to be moving down south after you find out that socialism is going to fail like it has for centuries. So let me give you the rules about down here. Number one, respect. Southerners really like the Second Amendment, okay? Don't come down here rude and disrespectful, because not only do we like the Second Amendment, but we also talk with our hands. And I don't mean sign language. Okay, number two, don't come down here yelling out where you from, like that's gonna scare somebody. I'm from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from Bronx. We don't care nothing about that, baby. You start yelling out where you from, we finna show your ass where you at. All right. Number three, aggressiveness is not necessary here. We really cool, we laid back people, so we take that as disrespect. We Southerners do, and we don't ask questions. All right. When you get all aggressive, we're not gonna ask you no questions. We just gonna do what we need to do. The only people that ask questions down here are cops and coroners. All right. So understand that. Last but not least, the South is the home and the origin of YNs and rednecks. And don't you think for 1 minute that they won't hesitate to unite like Voltron and get your ass up out of here. Also, honorable mention, people like me, my age and stuff, both sets of those, the YNs and the rednecks, they consider us auntie. So you don't want to disrespect us either, because they don't play about us. All right, those are the quick rules. That's the quick rundown, because once you are out of food, water, and shelter up there, you're going to have to find somewhere to get it. So you can come down here, but just remember them rules, all right?
That's hilarious. The crazy thing is that she's being funny, but there's always a tidbit of truth in the comedy, right? There's always a lot of truth in the comedy, to be honest with you. And yeah, when things do get crazy, don't go south. Don't go south and bring your politics with you. Don't.
New York, y'all voted for free over freedom, and I'm afraid that y'all just officially turned New York City into Gotham City. What's so crazy to me is the fact that after 9/11, we kept saying that we would never forget, and all of a sudden this man comes from out of nowhere and everybody gets amnesia. Make it make sense. This is literally this man's first job, and y'all think that he can run a city as great as New York? Not happening. All I'm gonna say is rest in peace, New York. After voting for Mamdani last night, y'all around to find out, Aaron, and y'all definitely about to find out. In my opinion, when he made that speech last night, he was very angry. He was very defiant. He was very vengeful. You can't tell me that is about the people. This thing is more personal. And let me just say this too. A lot of y'all voted for him because y'all heard the word free, but many of y'all voted for him because that man is anti-Trump, and a lot of y'all are anti-Trump. Y'all don't believe that he's going to do the things that he said he's going to do, because he can't. Come on now.
She's right. There's a lot of people that suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. And because this dude is anti-Trump, they went out there and supported this guy.
And let me tell you, watching all of this, praying for the New Yorkers, posting on social media, on Facebook, telling them not to vote for this guy, knowing his ideology. No one mentioned his ideology, okay? He's Muslim, and I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all Muslims are bad, but those that fully believe in the Quran, the Intifada, they're told to globalize Intifada. It's in their Quran. It's something that Allah commands them to do. If a person doesn't accept being submitted under Allah, either they pay a tax or they get unalived. So, I don't understand why New Yorkers voted him in. And here's the thing, I'm from New York. I'm not that far removed from it. I'm a Bronx girl all the way, but understanding that this is not Mondami's first job, Actually, his first job was being elected to the assembly office. He was an assemblyman. And if you did any research and you looked into the office that he worked at, he only came in half the time. He had a 50% attendance rate. So the other 50%, he wasn't in there. Where was he? And what did he do? Anyone look at it at the district that he was assemblyman over? What did he do? Did he make any improvements to his district, to his neighborhoods? What about the violence rate? No one checked that out. And then after he's elected and after he gives that speech, you have a plethora of Muslims and some extremists that get together in Times Square. And what did they do? They celebrated. They celebrated like they did after, and I'm talking about the extremists, after 9/11. They celebrated like they did after October 7th. What do you think that you're going to get? And then to make matters worse, the following day, he gets on TV and he asks for money. He goes, I know I told you not to donate anymore, but as of today, I want you to donate, okay? With a big smile on your face. Can you donate so that we can start to put this agenda into place? So he wants you to donate to his agenda so that he can give you free stuff. Donate, give me money so that I can give you free stuff. Pay for your free stuff. Make that make sense, okay? Please let me know in the comments what you think.
The crazy thing is you have 10 million people that live in New York. You had less than 20% of the population actually show up for the vote. And you have a lot of people that didn't even know that he won. And these are people that are supposed to be business owners and people who work and own businesses in the city. Baffling, mind-blowing to me. Check this clip out.
He win, by the way?
He won.
They chose the knucklehead, so we're gonna pay for it.
What happens if he opens up the government-run grocery stores?
I'm not with it.
Oh, you don't like the government-run grocery stores?
No.
$30 minimum wage. Can you explain how that might affect businesses?
Well, this will be over.
How are they going to make payroll? It's just about all the policy that he's trying to do, increasing the workers and the taxes. It's not good.
The minimum wage doesn't help the worker. It just helps the system. Pay more money, more taxes, prices go up.
Overnight, half of them will go out of business.
So I'm in a blue state, I'm sorry, but I've been red my whole life. Democrats will always ruin, steal, rob, and lie.
Any thoughts on having him for 4 years?
What I can do is just swallow and try to face it, but it's not easy.
We're cooked. We're on the way to becoming a communist state.
City's in trouble. They're in trouble.
Good luck.
Yeah. The brother at the beginning was like, oh, he won? Didn't even know. Sounds like he's a Republican, sounds like he's conservative, but when you live in New York City and you are 11% of the, voters, out there, only 11% of people in New York City are registered Republicans. How many of them actually go out and vote? At least, in the mayoral race, because maybe they just realize, like, man, I ain't wasting my time doing that. Whoever the Democrats want to win, that's who's going to be in there.
Okay, so when you don't vote people, you don't have a choice in who you get. You can't complain about it because you didn't put your ballot in, okay? Your non-vote is a vote for the person, okay? The same way Sliwa got in there in the race, and I believe I'm going to blame Curtis Sliwa for part of this, okay? He was the person that was running as a Republican, okay? When all three of them, when the current mayor, Adams, Cuomo, and Sliwa started running, they made an agreement. Whoever gets the most backing, the other two will back out of the race. Okay, so Cuomo was the one that had more votes than Sliwa. So if Sliwa really cared about New York, he would have backed out of the race, and it would have given Cuomo more of an opportunity to win. And those 80% that didn't vote, shame on you. You get what you get. You get what you didn't vote for.
Man, you're going to raise the minimum wage up to $30. It's going to cause people to lose jobs. They're going to lose tax revenue behind it. And, if you think about it, that's exactly what happened out in California, right? They raised the minimum wage, and then the company said, hey, we can't afford to do this. Everybody knows that when you own a business, small business or large business, the number one item on your P&L is your labor costs. That's the top expense that you're going to have. And when you're forcing companies to pay low-skilled labor $30 an hour, That is insane. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for, more layoffs. There's a recipe for businesses potentially going out of business because they can't afford to stay in business and pay people, $30 an hour, which is an exorbitant amount of money. I mean, you got to think about that. When someone makes $30 an hour, if you look at that on the annual, that's what, 65 grand or so? I could be off a little bit, but I'm almost for certain I'm really close. It's definitely well over 60 grand a year. That's a lot of money.
I'm going to tell you why I'm not happy about it. I like Mamdani. I'm looking forward to interviewing him. He's promised to be on this show. But I'm very, very concerned about some of the things that he said. I'm very concerned about what he once said about defunding the police. I'm calling 911. I'm being real with you. I'm calling 911. That's what I'm doing. I don't want to see less police officers. I want to see more police officers. I heard him talk about mental health experts in the subway system. I don't care about that. I want cops in the subways in New York City, where I was born and raised. Born in the Bronx, raised in Queens. That's what I want. I want to hear about no damn mental health experts in subways. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that, okay? 2% tax on the rich. Okay, fine. 11.5% capital gains tax. On its face, okay, fine. Free buses? Free grocery stores in each borough? Really? Really think that's gonna work? Ladies and gentlemen, we're at a crossroads in this nation. And there's no way to slice it. And the level of vitriol that you see amongst the American citizen is because, God forbid, that you have a difference of opinion. It's not enough to agree. People have to be disagreeable. And you have to be selfish if you're a person that's rich, that's making money, and you don't want to pay your fair share of taxes. Well, when you think about the billionaires in the state, in the city of New York, they make up about 48% in terms of the amount of taxes that they dole out compared to the average American, compared to the rest of New Yorkers. And if you're talking about raising their taxes while doing these other things, you're making New York unattractive, not just for residents, but for businesses.
Yep.
And if you make it unattractive for businesses and you don't, and you compromise the ability to be the capitalists that these people are, then they take their businesses elsewhere. So the money that they paid on their homes or in rent, they move out of the city or the state. Businesses follow. And ultimately the tax burden falls on to New Yorkers out there, which means that rent freezes, which is also something that Mamdani pushed. Is that really going to be plausible? Are you really going to be able to freeze rent? Or are you going to end up hiking it? Because you don't have enough people here to pay it. Tax revenue, where you getting that from? See, these are all the kind of things that we have to connect the dots and ask ourselves, 1 + 1, does it equal 2? Is it really plausible that these things are going to happen? According to Mayor Hochul, 90% of the stuff Mamdani said he can't do on his own. He got to come through her in the state legislature in order to get it done. Is he going to be able to do that? What level of support is he going to have outside of young whippersnappers out there who love him and are so in love with his personality and everything else that they didn't really dot the I's and cross the T's and look at actual policies and the kind of effect that's going to have on New Yorkers? That's what I'm worried about. I hope I'm wrong. Because talking to him, I like him. I'm looking forward to sitting down and interviewing with him. I just want to know where the money coming from. See, I count. Okay, I count.
I think that's the question that everybody has. And, Zoran Mamdani, he came across during the, campaign season while he was out there campaigning. He came across as a, likable, warm individual. But he shed the wool. He shed the wool on Monday evening or Tuesday evening. And he showcased who he is and what he's about. And all those people that he mentioned, all these different immigrants out there, not one time did he say anything about the actual American people, the people that are born and raised here in this country. Not one time. Because the reality of it is this: he doesn't care. This dude is a self-identified socialist, backed by some of the most wicked and evil individuals on the planet.
And here's another thing. Stephen Smith brought up a good point. He talked about taxing the rich, the billionaires, where you have 42% of billionaires in New York City that own corporations that are already being taxed at a high rate. What are you going to do when they leave? What are the citizens that are employed by these billionaires that own these corporations going to do? They're going to be on an unemployment line, right? They're going to be applying for SNAP benefits, for housing assistance, for all of these things. What are you going to do? You're already at a deficit when it comes to that, because the immigrants have taken at least, what did Mayor Adams say? $26 billion was spent on the immigrants since they've been there, in social service funds and everything else. And for those of you that say that's not true, I have a couple of friends that worked with the city, that worked in parole, and had to go to luxury hotels to see some of their parolee clients, okay, that happen to be immigrants, illegal immigrants in New York City. Well, let me know what you think about all of this, okay? And I want to thank Wise for his video. It's his original video that I'm actually reacting to, and I'm going to put that information in the comments, okay? But make sure you like, subscribe, share, and let me know what you think about it. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.